Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. It is very good to see
We're
you all
not doing
here
that at the moment.
today. No, we're not doing the waving thing.
Uh,
Don't you worry.
uh,
Normally we wave, but I don't know.
We
We're
just
not doing
wave.
it today.
oh,
Oh,
now
no, now we're doing
okay.
waving for TikTok. So if you want to see us wave, you can go watch the TikTok, and we'll be there.
Yeah, I'm done with waving now. Yeah. Or
Yeah,
YouTube. You
fair
can see us
enough.
on YouTube, I guess.
Oh yeah, you could go on YouTube and see it. But yeah, we were. What was I going to say? I was just about to say something. You interrupted me.
You were
Oh
going to
yeah,
say
if
that.
I
don't know,
was
what
going
were
to
you gonna
say, I was going to say that if you guys haven't already, it would be greatly appreciated if you could jump on the old Spotify in there and give us a rating. Ideally 5 stars, but it's a free country. Ryan would really appreciate it if you could. So
Well,
Especially if you
I
mean
hope you
something
hold that
about
in your heart.
some fucker hasn't given us a 5-star and we've got 4.6.
It's because
And
you
I
just
can't
called him a
actually,
fucker.
and I can't actually read it, so I don't know who it was. So
I'm pretty sure they're anonymous.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's just
you
us.
know,
It's not like
that's
trophy
awkward.
feedback.
Yeah,
Five
exactly.
stars, Ryan is bald.
All right.
5 stars,
Well,
yeah.
even okay, we won't. There's no threats. If no matter what you rate us, no one's going to threaten you. I'll have a solid word to Ryan after this and make sure. But yeah, that is kind of the plan, I guess. So yeah,
Also, if you do have feedback, you're welcome to give it to us. We may not listen, but you're welcome to give it to us.
Equally, blast us with a whole bunch of topic ideas so we can talk about some stuff you guys want to hear.
Because we're
And-
struggling.
or just abuse us. Like just send your meanest jokes about Ryan's bald head or Cam's big hairy beard. Or I mean, I'm not really vulnerable to attacks, so you can't really do anything about me, but those two, I
Yeah.
mean, they're
You have
low
to
hanging
get
fruit with
you
their
have to get
haircuts.
fairly racist to start abusing you, and it's just not appropriate, really. We can't really do that.
Yeah, we're past
I mean,
that
I'll do that.
stage of history.
I'll do that privately, but not publicly. So
Yeah, we don't want to get ourselves in trouble with Spotify or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh well, what have you guys had going on in your fish rooms recently? Anything exciting happen?
Are we not playing the music game today?
Well, no, we are, but I was gonna go
okay.
quickly.
Sweet.
Keep it short.
I've had my Tropheus start breeding, so I'm happy with that.
Yay.
Oh, nice.
That's
How long
real
have you been
good.
trying to get that to happen? Like a year?
I think possibly it was seasonal, so we'll see. They might, I don't know, they might respond to changes and pressure and all that sort of stuff because they seem to be starting to breed now, so that's good. You've got a bunch of Boise fry and there's a firefox holding and stuff, so yeah.
Oh, starting. So what you're telling me is that Tropheus would be a fantastic option for a summer pond.
I don't think so.
Especially in a big pool that you've got out in the backyard.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine just like 10,000 Tropheus.
It'll be
Swimming
awesome.
around with them.
I would love to fill that pool with fish, but apparently
all
the
the
kids.
ugly little
We've
ones.
been through this. Apparently the kids are going to swim in it more than 4 times this year.
No, they won't.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Just put fish in and no one will even notice for 6 months, so it'll be fine.
Yeah. So that's my great news. I'm happy with that.
What have you had going on, Cam? Been spawning some shit? I mean,
I've had some
things?
corridors do some hatching, so it's good.
What type of corridors?
Could be anything between bronze, albino, and Adelphi because I put all 3 of them in the same tank because I think they'll be fairly obvious to tell apart as they get bigger. I've also
Hybrids.
had some blacks and
Oh, that's like the
orange
Black
spawn.
Schultz IA.
Yeah, and Venezuela orange spawn. But I haven't seen any fry in those tanks yet, so I'll be looking again today. I'm still getting dwarf rainbows mold on me, and I haven't quite worked that out, but we'll see how we go.
It's probably too damp.
Too damp? Maybe because they're in the water?
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, sometimes I can't turn off this comedy thing.
And yesterday I moved my frontoses into the 7-foot tank, and I'm very excited about how they look in there. So,
Dude, those frontoses look cool as.
Are they
Such a
quite
cool.
settled?
It'd be cool to see a proper display.
what'd you ask, Ryan?
Are they quite settled in there at the moment, or are they still a bit skittish?
They seem okay.
Their frontoses are definitely skittish.
Old Grumpy Gut seems to have been working out. You know, he's got an extra couple of foot to swim around, so that's okay. Obviously, when I turned the lights on this morning, they got a bit spooked, but they seem okay at the moment.
How big?
Some of
How
them
big
one
are
day they got time to settle in.
Yeah. How big are they?
Mm.
I'd say the male will be sort of 220, 230, 240, something like that.
Oh, yeah. Because that length of that tank makes them look tiny when you sent those photos through.
Yeah.
But, so it's still got a lot of growing to do.
Yeah, plenty of room to do it now.
Although the width isn't ideal, at least they've got the length to actually play with.
Yeah, and I found last time I had them in that tank, they used the height a little bit as well. Like it was not super right at the top, but they sort of ventured away from the bottom and got really into the middle of it as well, which was good.
Yeah.
I have a question. What do you feed them?
I've been feeding them.
He's probably got lots of prawns from all his tank cycling.
I do have
he could feed them on prawns.
I do have lots of prawns, but I've been feeding them on tropical softline African carnivore and New Life Spectrum insects. It's not called insect, but the insect formula from New Life Spectrum. And
it's like some stupid name like Insectivario or some bullshit.
Yeah, that's the one. Yep.
I hate it when companies do that.
Rapashi Agapo Explorer, because that's the Rapashi that I use. So that's what they've been getting fed.
Oh, nice.
No,
you should feed them some earthworms.
You can try the bottom scratcher too. They'd like that. It hits protein in it.
Yeah, I don't have it open.
Open one.
Or in a big giant container.
But you should feed them some earthworms. It's so much fun.
I've started using the bottom scratcher.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to dig up through my garden.
Fair. It's probably going to be raining there. Just pick them up off the top.
There's more sunshine in Nelson than Auckland, you dick.
One of my favorite videos I've ever recorded was these frontoses just demolishing these worms. Like, it's so gross.
Didn't Crowded House do a song called 4 Seasons in One Day, talking about Auckland and how, like, 1 minute it's sunny, the next minute it's pissing down with rain, then it's snowing 12 seconds later?
At least you don't live in Nelson.
Oh!
Don't even have to be witty.
It could be worse.
All right. Well,
you used to live in
can you shut up? Can you shut up? We're trying to.
This isn't.
Okay, I mean, he lived in Blenheim. Now he lives in Helensville. He's one to talk.
I didn't really choose to live in Blenheim, though. I had to go there for 1.5 years for training. So
your choice was to not go. You didn't have to do it.
And when I lived in Blenheim, the highlight of our actually I can't say that. That would be bad. The highlight, of our
was leaving.
Was to go to Nelson and get BK. Because they didn't
go into the big smoke
in Blenheim. So yeah, I know what Nelson's like. I know how much of a shithole it is, and if you're looking forward to going there, you're fucked. So
it's funny because it used to be a highlight of Nelsonians to go to Christchurch to get the BK when we didn't have it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what was I going to say? Oh yeah. So for our random question, I mean, I've been thinking we always talk about off-topic stuff, so probably the segment doesn't make as much sense. But for this off-topic question, what, in your guys' opinion, is the best movie of all time? Someone's go first. Ryan, go first. He looks like he's got something.
I was pulling a bit of a blank.
Well, Cam, go first then.
I'm a big fan of Freddy Got Fingered. I think that is a hilarious movie. Have you never seen Freddy Got Fingered?
No. I have never even heard of this film. This sounds like one of those ones off a certain website.
No, it's not. You are missing
it's one of those
black and orange.
You had to go into the booth at the back of the video store to go and hire, was it?
This does not sound. This does not sound Spotify appropriate.
And you get it in a brown paper bag.
You guys are both missing out big time. You haven't seen Pretty Got Fingered.
I haven't seen it.
Really?
I've never heard of it.
Well, I'm not surprising. You're like 12. You're still probably not even allowed to rent that video. It's R18.
It's funny because you're talking about renting out videos, just showing how old you are.
As soon as I said it, I knew I was going to get something for
You
that.
can't even rent out the VHS.
Anyway, Pretty Got Fingered be up there with me, or maybe anything from Adam Sandler. Big
What?
Daddy.
Adam Sandler's good. Adam
Little-
Sandler's
Little
good. He's
Nicky.
great.
I like
Gilmore.
Grown Ups, but the rest is a bit
Grown Ups ain't bad. Yeah, well, you just
trying
don't
too
get-
hard to be funny.
Super Bad is another brilliant movie.
Dude,
Watch
you have a
Superbad,
terrible
but really
taste in films. I'm really disappointed in you.
Hmm.
All right,
Yeah,
what do you reckon, Ryan?
I have terrible taste too. Mine will be something like Shooter, that
That's
Mark
good.
Wahlberg one. It's a good movie.
That's a
Jason
good movie.
Bourne type ones, Bourne Ultimatums. I like those sorts of things, or just something real trash from like Marvel or something like Iron Man or something like that. You know,
Oh, Iron Man's
I
classic.
like Iron Man. It's brilliant. So
Yeah.
yeah, just
He's my
real dumb
favourite
Man,
superhero.
movies.
I
basically.
really regret asking this question. Your guys' answers are so bad.
What are you going to come up with some sort of crazy French freaking
Yeah, with some
high-end la-di-da movie?
Nah, man, I I really like Inglorious Bastards. That is
Oh,
a
that's
fantastic
that,
film.
that is a great movie. Yeah,
That is a
sucks.
fantastic film, and I also really like A Few Good Men. But
I haven't
that's
seen that.
Oh yeah.
really, you should.
The
Yeah.
problem is
No,
with
You
movies
can handle the truth.
it's all it is all mood based as well, right? You have moods for certain movies. So I think yeah.
Sure,
You know,
but
the
are
Green
you
Mile,
are you
the
ever
Green
in the?
Mile's a real good movie, you know. But you
You've
gotta
never
be
been
in
in
the
the
mood to watch it.
mood for Fingering Freddy or whatever the hell that's called.
Nah, more
It's
of a human
hilarious.
centipede,
It is one of
more of a
the-
human centipede sort of person, you know.
It is one of the funniest movies ever. Pretty Got Fingered.
All right. Well,
Seriously, it is
I'm-
hilarious.
I'm not gonna lie.
Daddy,
There's
would
a
you
very
like
low
some
chance I'm gonna watch it.
sausages? Daddy, would you like a sausage? Daddy, would you like some sausages? Daddy, would you like a sausage? Such a good movie. The backwards man. You got no.
Okay, let's move on from that. I don't want to
Just
have
Such a
this
good movie.
conversation anymore.
just to add to this conversation, the IMDb rating on it is 4.6 out of 10. So
It's a
it's
good
not
movie.
great. It's not great. It's not looking great.
What's IMDb?
So there's this thing called the internet cam, right? And
Yeah,
they put
yeah.
reviews of films on it. Don't worry.
Yeah. What's a film?
Don't worry about it. Your horse probably needs some more hay.
Your horse Freddy needs some work.
Oi. Let's talk about actual fish tanks. I'm pretty sure there's like a 17% chance that's what everyone's listening for. So
If they're listening.
we should talk about some fish tanks. So the idea we had for today was that we're going to talk about some. I probably should have. What's the word?
Define.
Made a note of who asked for it, because this is a request from someone, and I'm not gonna lie, I completely forgot to write down their name. So, person who requested it, you know who you are. Thank you very much.
They're probably not listening
But
because they requested it a long time ago. So they're probably like, fuck those guys. They don't listen to my requests.
But we're going to be talking about cookie cutter aquariums. So the way we're going to format this discussion is what we're going to do is someone is going to give out a tank size. So, maybe I'll say, a 60 centimeter by 30 centimeter by 30 centimeter tank. And then everyone will say what would be the best option to fill that with in terms of. Cam just messaged in the chat saying, "I can't believe you guys haven't seen this movie." It's like, let it go, man. It's not that important. But we're gonna go around the room and say what we'd do with a tank that size, like where we'd put it in the house, what fish we'd put in it, maybe if we've got any special requests for like different types of equipment or something that we'd use. All this the whole shebang. So yeah. That's kind of the format for this discussion because you guys wanted it. If you have any other requests,
are we talking about this from a point of view of like what we would put in it, or what we'd recommend that a beginner puts in it, or what we recommend like an advanced person would put in it?
Dealer's
Like
choice.
okay.
The only what's the word? The only rule I'm going to put on this discussion is it has to be cool. We're not putting like a bear tank with like, oh, that would be cool to have a breeding colony of fancy plecos in it. Like, come on, we're not doing that.
But
cool is so subjective.
So there's like a scale, like it's subjective, but like this movie's not cool. But
so and are we saying that this fish must live its entire life in this size tank?
Yes. It's like a display tank, so like a long-term tank. Like this tank has to get set up, and then it has to be okay for like, long-term.
5 years.
Obviously, like you trim the plants or remove the fry or whatever. But like,
Plants are dumb anyway,
it's not.
So still good.
It's not a temporary thing. It's like a years-based exercise.
Right.
So
do you understand? Cam Nelson?
No.
Oh no, he's going to complain in 5 minutes. But what I'm going to say,
complain at the end and say, "I never really understood what we were doing." Ugh.
So okay, I have a what would the word be? Start. I've had too much coffee. I need to start. So the one I'm going to start with is going to be a bit of a funky size. I'm not going to lie. So what we're going to do, we're going to start with 60 centimeter tank, but then it's going to be 30 centimeters front to back, and then 90 centimeters tall. Like those ones you see in restaurants and stuff.
What the heck? I've never seen a tank like that before.
No, neither have I.
What do you mean? Those real tall tanks.
2 foot long. It's only 2 foot long.
Yeah, the real tall
like
tank.
The hexagonal dumb things.
Well, I mean, could be, but not necessarily. Just the real small footprint, but real tall tanks that you see in a restaurant. Probably not in Nelson or Helensville, but like where there's other people, you will often see these kind of tanks. And they always have like
fancy goldfish
these
in them and long ears.
Well, they usually have these massive comets in them, or what's the other thing they have?
Like
they have tinfoil barbs
and plastic velocinaria going up top as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He's dying, just slowly dying. Yeah.
Yeah, I had some, bro. I've had way too much coffee. Like my hands are so shaky.
Well, have you had like half a cup?
Yeah, shut up.
Of decaf?
Can you just? Okay, so what would you guys do with this tank?
Throw it out.
Or do you want me to go first? I'll go first because you guys obviously need some time to think.
How cookie cutter do we have to be? That's my question, because you've got a really left field tank size.
Okay, it doesn't have to be cookie cutter. Just what would you do with these cool tank sizes? And
That's
like
okay.
probably the rest of the suggestions will be normal.
To me, this tank is a dumb tank because it's just a stupid size. But the only thing that I'd probably do
make it a bit shorter. Make it like 75 centimeters then.
I mean, it's not even long enough to do angels or something that gets really tall in it. So
exactly,
the only thing
that's the point.
I'd really do with it is chuck a bristle nose or two in there, and one bristle nose actually, because you don't want two because I'll breed. And then I'll do a whole bunch of cool schooling fish, like I'd try and get some real cool cardinals or something, and then maybe some gouramis, like pearl gouramis or something. Is like a bigger fish, just because they.
Why do you say it like that?
Gourami. I don't know. I can't pronounce anything.
What did you just say? Gourami. You sound like a baby trying to say it. Gourami? Gourami?
Same reason why you say algae, because you watch too much American crap.
Me?
Yeah.
How do you say that word then?
I don't know. I thought I pronounced it algae.
No, you say algae because you watch way too much American stuff. Mr.
That's so random. I didn't even know that.
Anyway, that's what I'd do with it, and I don't even know how to say the word of the pearl fish with the long ventral things that drinks the air from the surface.
Go
Guami. No, you
They're
say
pretty
guami
cool,
guami.
and they'll kind of hang out around the top level, and then the schooling fish will kind of hang out in the middle, and I just maybe put some longish plants in there. Maybe I mean Vallisneria will be an easy option, but it's illegal in Auckland, so you wouldn't do that. But some sort of plant that grows long. That one that goes all frilly, the ambulia or something, that could be quite cool down the back. That gets quite tall. You know, chuck a bunch of that in there.
All right. What would you do, Cam?
I'd set up a paludarium or a terrarium with it, with the height.
See, that's really creative. I love that answer.
Well, you've given me such
What would you do?
things I can play with.
Exactly. So, you what? Sorry.
Archerfish in there will be cool.
Oh, how cool would they be?
Archerfish get way too big.
They get big, do they? I don't know how big they get, but I think they're cool.
They get the same size as like a tenopoma, I think. So
what
like,
about those
hand size?
pantomime butterfly things? Do they get big? They're pretty cool too.
Too big for that tank, but decent size, yeah.
Yeah.
And also, that's not what they're called.
What are they called then?
Pantodon.
Oh.
Not pantomime. Guami guami?
Well, it's not an African cichlid or a guami guami.
Oh, little guami guami? Oh, you get a little guami guami?
You guys still haven't even told me how to pronounce it, because I reckon you could have pronounced it either.
Go Garami. Go Garami.
Garami?
Garami.
Guami?
Guami?
Go
Guami.
Okay. Anyway.
But yeah, that's a good idea. And what would you put in it? Like frogs? I don't know if you could have frogs.
Yeah, frogs, minnows. Also, I'd probably keep it cold water, most likely, to be able to match the frogs and the minnows.
Do you know what would be cool? Paradise fish.
Yeah, they would be. Yeah, they would be.
I don't know if you can keep them with frogs. I don't know anything about frogs, but that'd be so cool, I reckon. Like just one paradise fish running the show, and then like a bunch of minnows, and then like some frogs just cruising around trying to eat them.
Yeah, paradise would give a nice sweet point. Very similar to a goami, so that'd be fun as well.
Goami?
But
that'd be awesome.
Paradise fish, but yeah, I'd go with a paludarium, terrarium, something like that. Build up the back quite a bit for the frogs to sort of play around in. Again, we're pretty limited in like the reptile, amphibian type things we can play around with, but bell frogs would be pretty cool in there.
Or you can get some whistling tree frogs, those little ones that climb the trees and stuff, and put them, and they could be hanging out on all the trees and that. Like your plants growing out.
I think there'd be too much water at the bottom for them.
No, but if you had heaps of plants and like a little dry area, they could climb up on the plants.
Yeah,
have like pothos and stuff. No, they swim.
I thought tree frogs are pretty much keep me out of the water.
Yeah. Are they?
I don't think we should give any advice on things we have no idea about.
Yeah,
let's be honest. I don't know anything about frogs.
There is some sort of frog in there. And there's some sort of
but what you could do, what you could even do is make that little overhang they do, like a little ledge, and then you get like the recess bit where the fish can go under it, and then you get the thing for like a ledge for all the fish, and then the frogs can sit on it and like goes up. That's such a cool idea. When are you going to make this, Cam?
I think we're kind of thinking in the same realms of ideas at the moment, but yeah, something along those lines.
When are you going to do this? This sounds awesome. I want to see this.
Well, I've already got pretty much the same thing in my shop, but not as tall, because 90 centimeters tall is just stupid.
Fair enough. I'm not going to disagree. I would do, what's that, Cam, you'll be able to answer this question. What's that crypt that grows like, it looks like Val, but it's actually a crypt, and it's got little like...
Is it Balancius?
Yeah, Blanca.
Yeah, I'd do like heaps of that, like no hardscape at all, and just heaps of that in the back. And then like one of those really, like something like dwarf sage. If you live in a place where dwarf sage is allowed, dwarf sage, and then like a wall of those crypts, and then just like heaps of platies, but like just collect like every single possible color, and like some with the spots, and then some plain colors and all this, and then it would be very fun.
An option over sage. Epinus is around countryside, and it stays nice and low. Gives a nice two-tone color.
Oh yeah.
The top's green, the bottom's like a real crimsony, purpley red color sort of thing. So
that's awesome.
It contrasts really well against your plant.
And I'd do it like I would do like all the aquascapers will probably come kill me, but I'd do like a good layer of dirt, like just Daltons or whatever, like dirt, and then cap it with like a real dark black, like sand, like kind of like the fluorite texture, but you don't need to use fluorite. And then have it be like quite deep, like 15 centimeters deep, a real deep gravel bed, and then grow the plants up real tall. And just have heaps of platies, because that would be like a fun, like kind of harmless, like if it's one of those ones where it's like in a restaurant, it's like super nice looking, but very very easy to look after and effective. And you'd get so much breeding because there'd be so many plants that they'll just all the little ones will go hang out in the plants until they're big enough to survive. I reckon that'd be so cool. And then you get the light getting diffused through the leaves. Once the leaves get big, you get all these like it looks like sunlight coming through the gaps. I reckon that'd be cool as.
You've
I wanna
spoken
do
about two of my favorite things, crips and platies, so I'm on board. Choo choo.
Sounds good.
That sounds cool.
Well,
And I've seen a lot of big tanks overseas with like a lot of OB peacocks on them that look real cool. And I'm picturing that being the same with a lot of fish that are the same but different colors, sort of all mixing
Yeah.
together and looking just
Yeah.
adding. And people will be like, "Oh, look at that one! Look at that one! Look at that one!" You know,
Yeah,
oh, that
you
one's
can-
orange.
'cause,
That
like,
one's,
the
that
good thing
one's
with
white.
platies
That one's
is, like-
black. That's cool. Yeah.
any color you can possibly think of. There's one that color, like a blue one, your red one, get one with speckles, get one that's like just plain yellow, like any of them. And I mean, it's so much room, you can play with heaps. And the other thing I'd chuck in is, yeah, exactly. And the other thing is I'd chuck in some hillstream loaches, because I reckon that'd be something like, you'd look at it and you'd be like, oh my god, but then you look closer and you see these like random little stingray looking things cruising around. That'd be cool. Like a added layer of interest.
They like it cold, cooler though, don't they? But platies like that as well, so that's okay.
Yeah, that'd be sweet as with platies. You'd maybe keep it a little bit cooler, but not like
So
cold.
like what, 22 type thing, 22, or
Yeah, that kind of region they'd be happy as.
No.
Like they could probably go a bit higher, but if there's no need, like if you've not got any angels or anything, just keep it at a lower temperature. And
you probably do
it'll
want to
be happy.
slow the platies down a little bit as well on their breeding if you can.
No, you don't. You want them breeding
Yeah.
so fast, and you just
You
scoop
just-
them out
you
every
just-
5 seconds.
You'll just
Just
have
get some more.
The tank will just explode.
Yeah, exactly. And then you got a never-ending source of platy farm.
Just like whitebait.
Exactly.
No.
All right, who's got the next suggestion of tank size, and who's going to suggest something a little bit more
Normal.
reasonable? Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a 30 by 30 that's 4 foot high. What do you reckon?
I reckon that sounds cool. I reckon you could really.
A vase.
Okay, people don't do people don't talk about big like tall tanks. Everyone always
they're
talking
dumb.
about. No, I reckon they're cool. Like you can do
They're
so much with them. It's real different.
The problem with a tall tank is that's just so hard to work with. They don't have much footprint, and they're also really expensive to build because the glass has to be so thick. So
Yeah, but you see
that's
heaps of
where
them around. You can get heaps of them secondhand. You can get those big column tanks and that.
Well, even my tank in the lounge, which is 900 tall, is pretty tall for a tank.
Oh yeah, it's stupid.
It's cool. It's stupid cool.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those ones. It's
Yeah.
like this is so unreasonable, but I love it.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Well, why don't we just throw out something like they're like an AR 980. They're probably like one of the most common tanks that you'll find around the place. I guess they're around.
Can someone please quickly look up the dimensions? Because I don't.
Around a meter by.
Yeah, I think they're 980 by 200 by 2.5 or something like that.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm just
980 would
thinking,
make sense.
if you're shopping secondhand, you'll see
250
millions of them
meter.
around with a stand. I mean, they're not cheap. They're not expensive either to buy big. So they're 99 by 47 deep by 76 high.
Shit,
They're
that's
probably-
pretty tall.
They're quite a tall tank. They hold
Wait.
215 liters.
Man, that's
So, yeah.
real tall. That's so random. I didn't realize they're that tall.
Yeah.
We're on the
yeah,
tall tank buzz.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, dumb.
Well, I think a lot of
Wait, how
aquarium
deep was it again?
manufacturers-
Sorry,
46
50
front to
centimeters.
back.
40 centimeters. Oh, that's pretty good size. Oh, so it's like a US 40 breeder, but taller.
Hmm, hmm.
That's
So
cool.
it's basically 900. It's basically just a meter by 45 sort of footprint, 75 tall. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, what would you guys do? What African cichlid would you put in there, Ryan?
I would be doing. I'd probably go Mapunga. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Wrong.
Someone will listen and tell me it's wrong. Whatever. Elongatus, Mapanga, and yellows or Demisonian yellow labs. Just something real classic, real common.
And just like a big rock structure.
Just a big rock structure. Yeah. Black background, decent lighting. Obviously, with the Dems, you'd have to have a good number of fish in there to sort of make it work. But the tanks, sort of the minimum size I'd recommend for that sort of thing.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Simple but effective, I suppose.
Yeah, but it's just classic.
Yeah. I like it. I like the way you think. What would you do, Cam?
Yeah, I'm internalizing a really complicated situation. I'm not sure if I would
Just
go
as an
with...
example, when I Google it, they've got silver sharks and platies in there, so I would not put silver sharks in there.
No, that's a perfect combo.
But
Aqua One told me
anyway.
I can do it. You just need to put some stability and boom, problem
It's
solved.
amazing how you look at these things and you see silver sharks in a 1 meter tank and you're like, what are you doing? And you see two of them in this photo and you're like, why would they even do that?
I'm swaying around diamond tetras or black phantoms or green neons, or maybe some sort of raspora through the middle of it.
You'd do quite a cool barb tank in a tank that size, couldn't you?
Nah, barbs are dumb.
Get some Odessa barbs, they're cool. Rosy barbs.
Pack of tiger barbs.
Yeah.
Pack of tigers. And then probably plant it, maybe Java Ferny, needle leaf Java Fern sort of plant, because the lighting on those things aren't that flash.
Yeah.
That's the thing, eh? Yeah, like a needle leaf Java Fern would be quite work. Maybe some Anubias to go around it or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
A few spots of krib windy tie or something like that. Things that just don't need a heck of a lot of light run through it. Just to keep it going.
The bulletproof plants.
Yeah.
Well, I like it. I think that'll be cool. So
I've definitely set a blue light on it because that's way cooler.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Blue light.
Yeah, you can get them with blue lights.
Oh yeah. And then you could put the neon gravel and stuff in there and it will glow.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, we'll do that, eh?
Yeah.
But you're missing the sunken toilet seat that blows bubbles out of it.
Yeah, I couldn't
Or the
bring myself to
SpongeBob
do that. I'm
house.
sorry. Couldn't do that.
Do it. So
What about if you had like a city of Atlantis like in the back with all the plants and stuff growing over it? That'd be pretty cool.
Do you know what? I used to so we used to have this client that we looked after a big monster tank, but he also had a big reef tank, and I just like clean the glass and clean the skimmer and that, all the easy stuff. And he had this reef that was a sunken city, and there was like coral growing over all the ancient ruins, and like there was like starfish walking around on it and it was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
That's cool.
Because the problem with this is not really related, but the problem with reef tanks I find is they all look exactly the same. It's really hard to get, like, you don't often see people doing stuff different. Like, there's a couple people on like Instagram and that you see stuff different and it's real cool, but a lot of the mixed reefs are all very, very similar. But that was so cool because it was so different, and like, these were like the fattest, healthiest fish I've ever seen in my life. The corals were all going crazy, like all this kind of stuff, and it was just like this sunken city with like these big pillars and stuff. It was real cool. I really liked
the hardscape from.
I think he got it custom made from. I think it was Aqua Decor. Like it was.
Yeah.
It was quite the installation. It wasn't like a grab it from Animates type job. It was a
she's not your AR 980 from
yeah.
from Facebook.
Oh, it was it was like a 5 foot tank, and it was like the boy had spent a lot of money on this thing. It was real cool, but probably not the world's most cheapest exercise. But yeah,
It was a car.
like
It
stuff
was a
like
car.
that.
It was a nice car.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, he had a Bentley, so that gives you the scale we're talking. But yeah,
well, that's cool.
but
That's cool.
so for my suggestion, I was going to suggest something else, but I've had a way cooler idea from our discussion. So what I'd do, I think you guys will hate it, but I would want to do a tile bottom. Like the problem is, I know they have the curved front, so it might be hard, but you know, I'm sure someone can do it. Like cut a tile to fit it. So like a tile bottom, and then heaps of like real spindly Java wood. Not Java wood. What's it called? Spider wood. Like real long, skinny bits of spider wood, all
So
covered
you
in
say
Java moss.
a tile bottom.
Yeah, like
so you
terracotta tiles.
Put terracotta tiles on the bottom.
Yep. And heaps of that.
This is one of those. But why moments? What? Why?
And then heaps of those real spindly bits of Java, not what do I keep saying Java wood, spider wood, all covered in Java moss, and then just like heaps of tiger barbs, like heaps, like just a big group of tiger barbs and like nothing else, or maybe like I don't know, a group of cories, like maybe some I don't know, what would you put, like albino cories or something weird, and just heaps of tiger barbs, and I reckon it'd be so fun, just like a big pack, and you can like they get real aggro feeding. Like you could feed them like live white worms and stuff. That'd be so much fun, I reckon. It's one of those ones that it's different, but in a good way. So yeah, it would be cool. These guys are being quiet on purpose to be funny, but I think it would be cool, and it's not the same boring tank that everyone's talking about.
There's a lot of blank stares going on here, that's for sure. We've kind of zoned out a little bit because it was just getting too crazy.
Dude,
And
I reckon that'd be so
and
fun.
you're trying to put these cool cories on these terracotta tile bottom with no sand to sort of rifle around on. Man,
They'll be alright.
It's horrible for them.
So dumb.
It's just the same as bare bottom, but it looks nicer.
Except you've got
Or
terracotta on the bottom.
Even you could do tiger barbs and silver tips, like some aggro fish, like real active, aggressive fish. I reckon that'd be sick.
I'm feeling the barbs. I'd probably go with Odessa or rosy barbs because I think they're real badass when they start growing and colouring up.
Rosy barbs are super cool.
But
especially the long fins.
But I'm not feeling the terracotta. That just sounds dumb.
I reckon it'd be so sick.
No
Again, I've never seen a terracotta tiled bottom tank, so maybe it'll be cool.
And like you get some good flow going on, and they like play around in the flow, and it'll keep it so clean because obviously on the tiles it'll just keep moving till it gets sucked up by the filter.
Where did your parents go wrong bringing you up with your fish choices?
I don't know. Got divorced when I was young.
That'll do it.
Whoop, that was a bit deep.
You need
sorry, they don't listen to the podcast. Don't worry.
Way better influences.
You what? Sorry.
You need way better influences. That's just dumb.
But what I was going to say was I was going to say a pair of Julies, but I was like, that's boring. I want to do something different. That's predictable. Throw a curveball. All right. Whose turn? Cam's turn.
Tank size. How about 1200, 600, 600?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So that's 120 centimeters by 60 by 60. It's like a US 120 gallon tank size for all our American listeners. We actually do have quite a few American listeners, by the way, just so you guys know.
Oh, really?
It's pretty cool.
I didn't actually know that.
It's like 15 to 20% or something. It's wild.
And
for some reason, we have heaps of South Africans as well. So, yeah. Maybe we'll do it as a bonus episode where we just go over the analytics because that'll be fun. I actually think there would be. But yeah, so yeah, like a US 120 gallon size. So, do you guys have any suggestions?
Well, you start.
Me? All right. Well,
let's go.
So I've kind of got two options, but I'm going to go with the first one. It'll be similar to what Ryan said, but I want to do like a a easy chill Mbuna tank. So like the less aggro ones, and probably the smaller ones. So like I would want to do like the yellows and dems and what else? Rusties, that kind of thing. The smaller ones, because I think having them. So I know you can keep them in a smaller tank, like a 40-gallon tank, but I think having that extra room would be a lot easier, and it
just
would be a
because
lot
we've
more.
got 15% American listeners doesn't mean you need to speak in gallons the whole time. How many liters is that?
Well, it's like
We use
that.
liters.
It's like a 90-centimeter tank, but I reckon that'll be a really effective display size for that kind of thing. And I would actually do kind of similar. Like I would do a bit of rock as well, like the white coral rock, like a bit of a central structure. But then I'd get a lot of spiderwood and kind of poke it out all the cracks, so it looks like a like roots coming out of this big rock thing. Have a bunch of little roots coming out, and then you'd get all the fish like kind of zipping in between the bits, like the little sticky bits, and yeah, like good light, and some good flow. Maybe some sort of synodontist, like some petricola or something, cruising around the bottom.
So what's your full
Um,
stocking list?
So like
Anything that you
would
can
say
find?
yellows, dems, rusties, mpanga, and the synodontus.
Normally you wouldn't mix stems and panga. I don't know, because they're too
What?
similar. They
Something
might
else
fight
then.
too much. But yeah, I'm just trying to picture it. I'm trying to get with you. I do like the idea of big Mambuna tanks because everyone seems to stick the Mambuna in smaller tanks.
Yeah,
Because they're
exactly.
smaller,
That like
you know, but they
I almost, instead of a display, almost like a showcase would be the word I'd use to describe it. Like something really stunning, but simple. Simple but
and
effective.
you're probably talking like decent numbers of fish too. Like
Oh yeah,
not your 12 dems. You're talking like your 20, 30, 40 dems type thing.
yeah.
Like
You'd have a
actually
lot of room for them.
decent numbers of them. Yeah.
Oh, even maybe white labs would be a better option. That could look
Ooh.
cool.
Ooh.
White labs are cool, man.
Yeah,
You can't
no.
tell me different.
I do like white labs. Yeah.
Maybe even you do white labs instead. I reckon that'd be quite cool. Again, something different but effective but simple. Because then you get like,
You could even throw out there instead of your white labs, you could do your yellow labs, your dems, and then you could do some snow whites or something.
I'm not gonna lie, not a fan of the Snow
Pretty cool.
Whites.
Snow whites are pretty
Oh,
cool.
cool.
I'm
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
They go in the same category as Venustas for me. Like everyone seems to love them, but I don't really know why.
I've actually never kept or bred them, snow whites. So there you go.
Oh, that's one for your list.
Mm.
But yeah, that's kind of
But
what
I
I
do think
do.
they're
I think it, like, I really think a central rock structure with a bunch of little sticks poking out would be really cool. Almost like a little hedgehog kind of thing in the middle.
And are you building this rock structure quite tall, so it sort of goes towards the surface of the tank, or are you quite low?
Yeah, like decently tall, not all the way, because you wouldn't want it to cut out any of the light, but like decently tall. And then the sticks, you'd want to go all the way to the top.
Mm.
Even like maybe poking out the top. If you've got a tank that's open top or anything, like poking out the top would be quite cool.
Cool. Yeah, that's a cool tank.
So yeah. All right, who's next?
I was gonna go with this would be a good sized tank for male peacocks, male peacock tank for Africans. That's me pretty much.
I like it, but that's a very boring answer.
It is a very boring answer. I was trying to think of something different, but I just can't go past
Tropheus.
So it would be a really good Tropheus tank. So could
but
do the
you've
Tropheus.
said peacocks, so
yeah, well, I was trying to get away from the peacocks, but it would be a cool Tropheus tank. We'll go Tropheus instead. I'm changing it.
all right.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with
I'll allow it.
And I'm going to go with the classic De Boise because they're probably one of the coolest ones.
They're popular for a reason.
Oh, they're just so cool. Yeah, I'm starting to enjoy them again now they're breeding, and I can get little ones come through and stuff, and I'm just I went to a mate's house and he's had a big tank of some that I'd sold him. He actually has the Boise and Bishops in the same tank. A big, massive display tank in his lounge, and they're just awesome, you know. And yeah, just a big school of them. Mixed
How
ages.
many would you put?
For that size tank, you'd start off with probably 20, 25, even up to 30, and then just let them breed. There's all sorts of rocks and stuff in there, and they're just cruising around and they're breeding. Lots of generations.
Would you have anything else in there as well, or just solely your Tropheus tank?
I'd
Like
probably
some
just
Synodontis or something?
I'd probably just do the Tropheus, to be honest.
Yeah.
The Synodontis would eat all the fry. So
Yeah, exactly.
and the
but
idea
still.
of it is that they're kind of breeding, and you have all the different generations and sizes, and you have the little ones in the rocks, all spotty, and the big ones cruising around, and then the in-betweens kind of trying to join in.
So yeah, to kind of expand on that for people who don't know, so like a Tropheus is like the head and like the front and the back is black, almost dark blue black, and then they got a yellow band in the middle. But when they're small, they're like pretty much that dark blue black with like little white spots. And then as they grow, the spots kind of fade off and the yellow comes through. So you'd get the whole, you get the adult colors, you get the juvenile colors, and you get the ones in between. So you get a bit of a variety even within the same fish.
Yeah, when I first started keeping Africans, I went to a guy's house and he had this tank full of them, and he had the babies and the adults, and I've just always been like, that is cool since I saw them. So,
Yep,
always like,
for sure.
be cool if we could get the white band ones here.
Yeah. One day.
Yeah.
What would you do with this tank, size tank, Cam?
Originally, I thought snow whites, cobues, and red zebras, but because you guys have spoken about African cichlids the whole time, I now think they're dumb.
Fair enough.
I've always wanted to play around with an island style, which I've never done yet, and I think that would work quite well because it's quite long and quite deep at the same time. And then
island style? What are you saying there?
So, like, yeah, the structure is just in the middle, and so like you can walk around it and see it.
Oh, so
and view
peninsula tank.
Yeah, view it on every side of it.
So you're saying like in the middle of a room type thing?
Well, you could be able to walk around it if that's the general gist of an island style, or see it from 3 decent angles, like it's kind of all scaped visual at each angle, sort of thing, not just in the front.
Oh yeah.
So probably a large wood structure in the middle. Again, probably some needle leaf Java fern coming off that because it bushes up really well. I think it bushes nicer compared to standard Java fern. Because it would be viewed all the way around, I think maybe krib cordata all the way around the outside of that will be nice. So it's kind of coming out, and then a lower krib from that sort of layered downwards, if that makes sense, and then lower as we go. And then I'd fill it up with microfish like maybe glow light danios or red-faced danios or something like that, and then otocinclus. So lots and lots of small fish to add to the scale of the island.
Put some celestial pearls in there now.
Could possibly do that. Yeah.
Yeah. They're available now.
Yeah.
So
That would be cool.
I like
That's
the
a good
idea of
suggestion.
small fish in big tanks.
in a big tank, yeah.
Quite cool, yeah. There's something about it in the way that they can interact and do their thing. And if we're speaking hypothetically, we're talking 200-300 of them sort of scenario, because money's no object, and you can just do that because we're talking hypothetically.
Would you?
Yeah, man, it's hypothetical dollars.
Would you do something like would you do something bigger in there, like maybe some dwarf cichlids, like some Mephistos, or even some blue rams or something, just as something as different sort of feature fish or something sort of? Yeah.
I think if I was going to go bigger, I'd want the bigger in the middle section, not the bottom.
Not the bottom.
Like the way that I'm envisioning it, the whole bottom is covered in plants, so you may not see them.
You could put some guamis.
Some guami. Well, that would work because it would be more of an Asian-themed Java fern, cryptocorynes, danios, all from that Southeast Asia type scenario. So guami would
if
work.
you want to stick with the microfish thing more. Yeah, probably the microfish. You could check the sparkling gourami or the croaking gourami.
Yeah, they wouldn't scale the difference that well if they're all about the same size. So if you're going to go with a slightly bigger one, you'd want something that would make it more scale of the smaller fish.
Honey gourami.
Yeah, that'd be the most logical one.
The
think
one,
would be
you know what, really
honeycomb.
cool? The wild type honey gouramis look real cool.
Agree.
They're not the most popular, but they look really cool.
Yeah.
The males are nice. Yeah.
Yeah, they're really nice gourami.
Girls might get too big for the other microfish. That might actually be a proper predator on them. So
You
need
just have a
the
real
big one.
fat pearl gourami and nothing else.
Yeah. So I think you need to go with the dwarf gourami species of some description to do that properly.
What's a
Is it-
gourami? I mean, no gourami.
And we hate the neon blue gummy because they just die. So yeah, we don't do that.
Cool and pretty, but they just don't live very well.
They got some issues, man. Yeah,
So that's
that makes sense.
what I would work around with.
Yep. All good. Well, yeah, that sounds like a fun little installation. How about for this one? How about we do something a bit smaller and a bit more relatable for everyone? So we'll do like a 45 centimeter by like 25 by 25. So like a really 20 or 30, whatever it is. You know those little like 35, 40 liter tanks? You know,
Yeah, they will make them
table
Aqua
or
One.
bench.
Halia make them. There used to be an Aqua One 38 liter tank. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, that kind of little 35, 40 liter type size. What would you do with them? Who wants to go first? Ryan?
I
know what you're going to say.
Yeah, you know what I'm going to say. So I'm trying to do something that's not predictable, but there's only two things. There's only two things that I would put on there, really. And it would either be well, there's actually three things now that one of the other ones has come available. It'll be celestial pearls or cherry barbs or shellies.
Yeah, and that would be the brevis, not the Aussies for that size.
Yeah, Aussies might be okay, but the brevis would definitely be okay.
Yep. Do you have any? Well, which one are you going to choose to talk about?
I have to go to shellies, otherwise you will. So
yeah,
I'm going to take it. I'll take it.
All right. And how would you scape it and everything?
Well, I don't really.
And how many and everything like that.
But it would have to have some sand. Probably go with black beach sand's pretty cool, and some shells, obviously, and some sort of structure in there. Maybe a big ass. We've got maybe a big ass limestone rock or something in the middle.
Sick.
Yeah,
sounds lit.
That's basic, pretty basic. And maybe chuck some plants in there, see if you can get them deep into the sand so the fish don't dig them up.
And you just keep a pair of brevis in there.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have a pair for very long.
If you know what I mean.
You'd have fry because they're going to get down.
They'll be busy.
Yeah.
And
probably maybe some sort of hang on the back filter or something. Get it out of the tank.
Yeah, open up the space a bit more. Yeah, sounds like a fun little tank. How about you, Cam? What would you do?
Clearly, we're in microfish territory.
Chuck an Oscar in there. She'll be right.
I'll look at neon blue Raspora.
Neon blue Raspora. Oh, yeah.
And
I've seen one of them before.
Because I've got some coming in today, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're like.
Is that the Axelrod eye?
Yeah.
They
stay nice and small, so we've been quite an okay size. Haven't looked up into the temperament yet. I haven't looked up into the conditions, but I do know they stay small, so that would be an option in saying that size.
They look cool. They look cool on the Googles.
Yeah, ideally they would be a blackwater species because I think that'll work pretty well. A little blackwater tank with them, or maybe green neon tetras could be another wee option for saying that sort of size.
They are blackwater fish. There you go. So you're all good.
Yeah. Cool. Maybe the glow light. The the emerald rasbora as well. So something in that mini fish.
What's the
type.
emerald?
The red face one, the blue with the red stripes. They're
Yeah.
really cool.
Apparently, the neon blue rasbora can croak as well.
Neat.
So when they're fighting, they make noises, or if you take them out of the water, they croak at you. So
Cool.
that could be interesting.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I heard sparkling gouramis croaking, and I was that was a fun time. That was like a what the hell's going on here kind of moment.
Yeah.
But it's very cool. But no, that sounds like a fun little tank, fun little nerdy tank, in a good way.
I'm getting
Go hard on the
bit
live
more
foods and all that.
Yeah, I'm getting a bit more into Danios and rasboras at the moment. Like, there's just quite a cool little few with intricate patterns and markings and stuff like that compared to the bright in your face of some of the tetras, if that makes sense. Especially some of the smaller micro ones. Yeah, I'm just getting a little bit into them at the moment.
And they got some
And a
fun
lot of
little behavior and stuff, eh?
A lot of them need to be in the right environment too, and actually settle in
Yeah.
and really get happy before they actually start looking cool. So
Yeah,
if you see them in this, you see them in a pet shop with the fruit salad gravel with no background, with a light in an empty tank, straight from the wholesalers, and they just look, man, just like silverfish, all schooling together, terrified, not happy.
Guy like Danios are terrible. Like when they get a bit more mature, they get these really nice orange tiger streaks through them. I think they're a really cool little fish, but they're a real hard sell because they don't look that fantastic in a shop. But once they get settled in for a couple months, get a little bit of size on them, get mature, get comfortable, man, they just bang. They slap, as the cool kids say these days.
Kwame. But no, that sounds like a fun little tank. What I would do with it is I would do a tank that's like, again, got a decent layer of that similar kind of substrate. Like I put a little layer of like Daltons or something, and then quite a bit of like the black like fluorite black texture, like fluorite black sand texture, like the slightly bigger granules, and then do heaps of real low, like keeping low plants, like maybe one of the crypts or something. I'm kind of thinking dwarf sage again, but that's not allowed. But yeah, like, oh no, you could do the Helanthium latifolius or something like that, or the Helanthium tenillium or whatever they call it. Just like heaps of that, and basically like make a carpet, and then at the back have real I don't know how you describe it, like real bushy, kind of lower bushy ambulia, just like, again, real easy to grow, but like just like a wall, like almost like a hedge. So you can't even see, you can put a background, but you can't even see the background, like just cover the entire thing. And then I'd just put like one of those real fancy bedders you get, like the real, like a Dumbo Super Delta kind of thing, like real massive fins and like the big pectoral fins. And then a group of just ember tetras or something like that, just to hang out in the middle.
You could do your albino cherry barbs that you've bred.
Could do, but I got somewhere else they got to be. But yeah, if I was to get some, that would be a good option. But those would kind of be what I'd be thinking of at least. So, yeah,
all right.
That's my plan.
Stan.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, who's got next? Cam got next? Or Ryan got next? Ryan got next.
Has Cam come up with a tank size yet?
Yep. 1,200, 600, 600 when you know
exactly.
Why? Oh yeah, I guess. Well, everyone's going to know what I'd do if we did that though. That's no fun. I was thinking we could do something like a 3-meter tank or something stupid like that, just to throw it out there and see what would happen.
Go on then.
But it'll be fairly obvious what we're going 3 meter by 1 meter wide by 1 meter tall. So it's
so it's irrationally big.
It's a monster tank. It's like, whatever
The
liters
kind
that
they
is.
have at the
It would
zoo.
be like 3,000 liters or something, wouldn't it?
3,000 liters, I think. Yeah.
yeah. So, and it's all
So what would you do
sumped.
with that?
It's all sumped and it's cranking.
Yep. Ugh.
Yeah.
Cool. So, who wants to say their idea for this first?
I'd go cactus plecos or green phantom plecos.
Lit.
I was thinking about royals, but they're so messy. I just couldn't be bothered dealing with them. So
Yeah, you got a
maybe
big
But you
sump.
got this big ass
You got a big
filtration system
sump.
to deal
You
with
got a
it.
massive sump.
yeah,
Like,
no, it's still
it's a
not
3-meter tank, and there's an 8-foot sump underneath it with
still not worth it.
a
It's still not
gazillion
worth it.
liters per hour of flow.
Still not worth it. It's still going to be messy.
You've got a guy who comes and looks after it for you.
Probably royal plecos then.
Yeah.
Yes, sunshines, cactus, or green phantoms would probably be the pleco selection at the bottom. And
All of
then
them?
I'd go with this one.
Yeah, but they wouldn't.
And
they
then
don't
like
get along, do they?
multiple of that one.
Yeah, multiple of that one. I'm not quite sure where I would go. Would depend on where I went with as far as the fish goes. I would consider silver sharks because it'd be cool to see them in such a big tank doing their tanky things.
And get a big group of them. I do think silver sharks are cool, actually. I like silver sharks.
Yeah, a big group or something like that, I think would be quite rad. I would consider maybe something along the lines of a knife fish, but I think there might be enough action going on at the bottom of all those plecos already, so I'm trying to fill the middle.
It's
Clown
big enough for a silver arowana.
Yeah, I want to avoid saying something like an arowana or an Oscar or something like that. I think I'm trying to go towards something that get really big, but we don't really have enough capacity to carry them most of the time, if that makes sense, which is where I was going with the silver sharks. I think that'd be quite a
Giant
cool option.
gourami.
Yeah, giant gourami could be a cool option. Big pink one, that could work too.
Yeah.
Paku.
Don't really float my boat at all. You're trying to avoid things like Asian arowanas, that kind of stuff. So I've definitely got the bottom part of it under control. The top part, not so much. So that's kind of where I'd be thinking with for that.
Yeah, makes sense. I
So
like
like
it. What would you?
The top fish would determine the pleco selection. So like totally carnivorous top fish would go with like the cactus plecos, for example, or more of a vegetarian herbivore type thing might sway towards the green phantoms type of job.
Yeah, I can see that. What would you do? We all know what you do. What you would do with that, Ryan? So
Yeah. It would just be a massive.
talk about it.
A massive Happen Peacock tank, basically, but there'd be 10 of each male type thing, just big, massive.
You should have said Frontosa.
Yeah. The problem, it would be a toss-up between Frontosa or even a. I'd love to do a mixed Tropheus tank, like with. Considering we've got so many different species now, it'd be cool to do like a 20 males of each species in a big display tank, like a male-only Tropheus tank. I think it'd be awesome. Just all the colors, all the activity. It'd be wicked.
Because you'd probably, in that sort of size tank, you'd probably get them all schooling independently, eh?
But it'd be cool to see what they do because all the species do have different feeding habits and different behaviors. So it would be cool to have some big flat rocks, a lot of flow, and just see if they did start some of the natural behavior you do see when you see footage in the lake.
Like, yeah, it'd probably almost be big enough where some would hang out one side, some would hang out the other side, some would hang out above other ones, like
until you approach the tank and they thought they were going to be fed, and they'd be like just a swarm.
But that'd be awesome. That'd be like a piranha feeding. Like, it's not piranhas because obviously vegetarian, but like you could throw in just chuck in like a sheet of seaweed, and it would just be like piranhas in a film when they eat someone's arm off. Yeah. Something like
definitely.
that. That'd be quite fun. That would be like a really fun and interactive tank, I reckon.
Yeah. Or even you notice these guys have been behind me. If you ever go near the tank, they just go straight up to me. So,
Yeah. No, that'd be cool. I can get behind that. All right. So my one is, I think you guys think I'm going to say arowana, and
I'm gonna say
that,
Penny.
but
It's Penny's tank.
it would be, but it okay, if it was my tank, that's what it would be. But the idea I'm going to throw out is something a bit different, because basically I always say the same thing. So again, we'd have some real long, kind of thin bits of driftwood hanging down, so it looks like roots, not like through the whole tank, but like to create a couple different areas, like under the roots, like a couple open areas and that. And I'd do like one massive, like, fuck off datnoid, like a massive one,
Yes.
like a big nice datnoid. Flagtail Procholotus, like,
How
again,
big? How
just
big
a
do
nice
those
big
dats
one.
get?
Bigger than your
Like,
head.
easy. No, that's not a high bar, but like, I mean,
Oh,
I don't know.
so cool.
Put your arms out and touch your fingers together and make a big circle, like that size.
They
Like
are
a big
massive,
datnoid. Yeah, like, but they take so long. They grow so slow. But like, yeah, a big datnoid, flagtail Procholotus, some biches, like, not a ton, but like an ornate, a Delhaize, the Poli, Palmas, like that, just like one of each, and they got enough room to do their own thing. And then I do heaps of the Sitenoperca Jurapari, like the what do they call them? Demon Earth Eater. Like just a group of those, and you just watch them like go from one end to the other, just like cruise around sifting. Like they go pick out all the things from
tiles
there.
as well.
Nah, this will be sand. This bad boy.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, and then
Not
one as well. Yeah, and then also a nice big, fat, happy, healthy, well cared for sailfin pleco. So putting plecos with biches is not great, but I think in this size tank could be right, and obviously you'd have to be very careful. And it's this is a imaginary tank, so we can kind of put the risk to one side.
Risk? What's the issue with plecos and biches? Don't you do it in Penny's tank?
They munch on the biches. Yeah, that's one where do as I say, not as I do. It's in my tank. It's
the plecos eat them.
Yeah, they like munch on the slime coat. Slime coat. A lot of things do it. Even like featherfins and odontus do it.
Is that to biches specifically? Because they're quite a slow growing, slow moving sort of chill out fish. They're not always going. So
and I think they've got quite a I think they've got quite an appetizing slime coat, because a lot of things, even like featherfins and odontus do it, and like all this kind of thing. So yeah, but I can get away with it in my tank because my bicher is very aggro. So like, if anything even comes near him, he will give it a fair whack, and I'm always there, so I always keep an eye on it. But
you're not there now.
I would, well, yeah, but it's fine because I check. Like, I keep a very close eye on them, and the only times is like sometimes the plecos get a shredded fin, and I'm like, you've been misbehaving. So yeah, but I wouldn't recommend it. But yeah, that's kind of the tank. Just like, and with the Juraparis, there'd be like 20 big Juraparis, a big datnoid, a big flagtail Procholotus, and the biches, and like heaps of sand, and like maybe some nice lush kind of, I don't know, you'd have to be careful with how you did it, but like some big Amazon swords like dotted around this place, and that kind of thing with the big root structure. But I reckon that'd be really fun.
I like where you went with that. Made me think
thank you.
I should have said datnoids and geophagus as well. But the decent ones, the Sunananimus, or whatever the hell they pronounce them.
Surinamensis.
Yeah, they're the coolest ones.
Apparently, so I'm not an expert, but from what I gather, the Surinamensis we get in is actually Waimullarai. So that's interesting. I don't know 100% know if that's true. I've not actually looked that deep, but I don't think they're true Surinamensis. So that's interesting. But yeah.
I used to have a nice big group of them, and they were stunning.
Yeah, they're cool. They're one that's like when they get the big trailers going and everything.
Yeah,
just beautiful.
And saying
Yeah,
that
man.
sort of size, they would be like just in their absolute element, just doing their sand sifting thing all day long, just cruising through life.
Yeah, man, exactly. It'll be a cool environment for them. And also a big flagtail will be so much fun to watch. I love them. They're such weird fit. Like, it's such a captivating fish to watch cruise around because it's so odd.
Especially if you gave it some space.
Yeah.
It actually,
And because they'd actually get enough algae. Like, they wouldn't just polish it off all in a day. Like, they'd actually have stuff to do.
They're super intense cows. They just graze all day long.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Like, they just kind of like bop along like this. Like this. No, I don't think they are. They get quite aggro with each other, I think, from what I gather. I've never kept them, but they tend to. I've seen them fighting each other pretty fiercely. So, but yeah,
so Amazon fish, eh?
Yep. There's some Americans and some Asian fish, and some African fish combined here. So, don't come at me, Biotope Police.
Apparently, best kept on their own or groups of 6 to 8 plus.
I don't think you'd want to put 8 in there, even though it's a big tank. It would be. That's a lot of fish. There's some beefy units.
Once they get to 30, 35 centimeters, you got some fish in there.
That's one. They're like 30 centimeters, but they're probably like 30 centimeters wide. They're like humongous.
They get pretty tall as well, don't they? They're big, solid fish. Yeah.
We're talking hypothetically.
I didn't realize we had the Nike sponsorship.
Hey,
Not yet.
They came on board. They came on board last week with me announcing it.
Sick.
So, if you guys want some Nike merch, let us know.
All right. What do you got, Cam? What's your? I think this will probably be the last. What is it? Setup idea.
Okay.
So no pressure, but it has to be a good suggestion.
I'm gonna go with 500, 500, 200.
What the hell?
It's 200 tall, so it's like a little coffee table tank type thing.
A little low boy.
Low boy.
I don't know the actual dimensions of the low boy, but I think they're pretty low like that, which we don't get here.
So we've already talked about it, but shell dwellers, heaps. And what I put in the middle is I put like a little like a rock, like a coral rock, but then have it poking out the top, and then plant like peace lilies and stuff all over it. Like the rocks with like what's it called? The coral rocks that have the big holes through the middle, and then just put peace lilies in so the roots can go all through it. You get like a little desert island going on. And okay, what I would do is I'll put little Lego figures or something on there and make it look like they're stuck, like these little Lego people, and like give them like a little spa, like a resort, with like chairs and stuff, because they'll be fun. And then in the actual water,
so it's a
just
desert
like
island.
Yeah, pretty much. I reckon that'd be fun as, and like chuck some wool, like a pretty decent size. This maybe isn't quite big enough for what I'm thinking, but like maybe like if it was slightly bigger, maybe like 650, 700 kind of by 700. Like a little desert island in the middle, and then like near Lamprologus brevis or Lamprologus ocellatus, like the gold, maybe the Aussies, I think would be fun because you've got enough room to play with it.
Yeah.
And just heaps of those.
If you had that big structure dividing the tank up too, they'd kind of form a territory right around it.
You get your special areas, you get like one male claiming this corner, and then one male claiming like under the rock, and like you get all this kind of interplay with that.
You could make the rock jut out to one side as well to sort of define a different territory if you need to as well.
You know what would be cool? Those little pontoons people make. You make like a little pontoon, maybe out of Lego or like maybe out of like actual proper stuff. Make a little fake pontoon and have someone fishing off it. Like a little Lego man fishing off it. That'd be so much fun.
This sounds like a cool tank for kids. This sounds like
this sounds like it'd be awesome. Like having that would be so cool, and like have a little house on it, and like the peace lilies making it look like the jungle. That would be awesome. This sounds so cool.
I think it sounds cool.
I reckon it'd be fun.
If you can put it down low enough for kids to be interactive with it, it would be quite cool.
Yeah, and the Aussies would be brave enough where they're like, if a kid puts his finger in the water, they're not going to be traumatized. They'll
They'll bite them.
take that as a challenge, shall we say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I reckon that'll be so much fun. That just sounds like such a fun tank. Like if you had that in a shop, if I had that in the shop, that would be so much fun. Like people would love the little like natural underwater, and then like a little desert island diorama at the top. Put a crashed airplane in the water. You'd put a crashed airplane in the water, so it's like, oh, these people's plane crashed and they got trapped on this island.
Yeah.
That'd be so. Oh my god, I want to do this. I want to do this so much. And I have a tank I could probably do it with.
Or are you just going to have it fill up with plastic?
No, it's ceramic. Come on, think about it. But yeah, I reckon that'll be so fun.
I actually agree with you. I think it'll be cool. It's not a natural tank, and it's not like a typical tank, but I think it will be fun.
The underwater will look natural as.
Apart from the plane.
Yeah, well, that's one thing. Maybe the plane can crash on the island.
But there are actually planes in the water.
Exactly.
So
I'm sure someone's crashed I'm sure someone's crashed a plane into Lake Tanganyika before. It's a big place.
It's bound to have happened.
Yeah.
You know?
Or sunken boat.
Go off Pearl Harbor, there's plenty of crash planes, you know?
Pretty big
I'm just doing a biotype of this very specific area where this one boat sunk. Or this one plane crashed. So, don't fight me. It's in the lake. I didn't crash it. Yeah. Oh man, this is so cool. I actually have a tank I could do this with, I reckon.
So do it.
All right, Ryan. Ryan, when you start cranking your Aussies, let me know and I'll set up this tank.
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right, sick. So what boring stuff would you guys put in there? Oh, you put a Pluto colony.
I don't think that I can beat that.
No one can. I mean, it's not fair. I've ruined the exercise for everybody.
I want to do it now. I'm trying to think. Can I think of anything better with that size tank?
I would because you're not coming up with anything. I'm going to do a shallow streamed of corridors, very much along the lines of Ivan McColgey's photos underwater. So the water's quite here, and your sand's there, and just a whole big group of corridors on it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So.
And would you do those plants, like the long plants that's like, getting thrown around in the water?
Probably no plants. Just a few little.
That's lame.
The rocks and the odd twig here or there.
And you'd have some sort of flow in there, would you?
Yeah,
would you be
decent
doing
flow.
Would you put leaf litter? Or like botanicals, like little cones or something?
Yeah, probably consider a little bit, but would want it more open sort of spaces as opposed to full of stuff.
What sort of coral would you put in there?
Because I'm trying to replicate this one thing, probably the bronze corridors, because that's what the photograph is of.
Yeah.
If not, Sturbos would probably work pretty well for it because they're a bit chunkier.
Yeah.
Or
yeah,
skunks.
That makes. Yeah, I mean, this is not going to be natural at all, but I reckon I'd do albino cories. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Like something a bit weird.
Yeah, I like
a bit creepy with their big eyes.
Sit along in the same direction, so it looks like they're pointing. So skunks.
Oh yeah, and all their stripes match up.
Yeah, it's kind of rad, eh? Different but rad.
Yeah, it's like kind of creepy. It looks like they're plotting a murder or something, but like it's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe one of them if I was going away from the bronze.
Yeah, I like it. All right, Ryan, your turn.
I'm pulling a blank on this one. The only thing that's sort of speaking to me is probably some sort of Geochromis tank, maybe Malarii. Just
that'd be kind of cool.
Similar to the tank that you've created in the shop, but I would have more like a lot of structure sort of going right to the top of the tank, and have some plants and stuff growing out of it, pothos and that, and just
have
like,
it.
Sort of
you could have it coming out the water, and then put a bunch of Lego people on it.
I think the Lego. I think you've nailed the Lego idea, and I really can't get past it. So, it's,
Dude, I actually am
brilliant.
gonna do this. This is because I did have a tank that was gonna be that Julie Malaria tank, but
Yeah.
I could probably do this in that tank. Or I do have another. Oh my god, I have so many ideas. This is awesome. Greatest idea ever.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I like it.
Sick. All right, but yeah,
Yep. All right.
no
are
worries.
we done with cookie cutters now? Is that it?
Yep, I have some business to attend to right now, if you know what I mean. So let's hurry this
Okay,
up.
cool. Cam needs to take a number 2, so we need to hurry up. Thank you for listening, and thank you for giving us 5-star ratings. Apart from those people that did not give us 5-star ratings, we know who you are, and we don't know who you are, and we don't really care that much. But you know, the merch died, so yeah, no one's asking for merch. I was looking forward to, Cam and a loaf of bread and all that sort of stuff, but it's just not happening. So we need to get a bit of momentum behind that, and otherwise we'll talk to you all later.
Sweet. See you later, everybody. Love you all.
If you're still listening and you have any topic ideas, let us know.
Cool. All right.
Thanks.
See ya.
See you later.